The red rose surprise. The city woke up slowly under a soft golden sunrise. Cars honked loudly, buses rattled across the streets, and people hurried to work with sleepy faces. In the middle of all this noise drove a man named Daniel Parker. Daniel was 38 years old, wore neat clothes, and always checked his watch every 2 minutes. Late again, he muttered. His car suddenly made a funny squeaking sound, squeak. Daniel sighed. Even my car is complaining now. At the traffic signal, a street vendor shouted, "Fresh bananas. Buy one, get one tiny banana free." Daniel almost laughed that it was one of those strange mornings, but he did not know this day would change his life forever. Daniel's phone rang loudly. It was his secretary. "Sir. Did you remember your mother's birthday?" Daniel's eyes widened. "Oh no. You forgot again?" she asked. "No. I remembered, just very late." His secretary laughed. "You should call her before she disowns you." Daniel quickly turned his car toward a flower shop. "Flowers will save me," he whispered. The flower shop was called Rosie's Garden. Bright flowers covered the entrance, red roses, yellow tulips, white lilies, purple orchids. The sweet smell filled the air. An old woman stood behind the counter wearing giant round glasses. This was Rosie. She smiled warmly. "Daniel Parker. The man who only visits on birthdays and emergencies." Daniel grinned awkwardly. "You remember me? You once knocked over my cactus stand. Oh. You also sneezed into my orchids. Oh. And you still owe me $12. Daniel cleared his throat. "Let's focus on flowers." Rosie placed her hands on her hips. "So, what trouble are we fixing today?" "My mother's birthday." "And when is her birthday?" "Today." Rosie shook her head dramatically. "Amen." Daniel smiled. "I need something beautiful." Rosie picked a large bouquet. "This one says, 'Sorry I forgot your birthday but I still love you.'" Daniel blinked. "There's a bouquet for that?" "There's a bouquet for everything." Daniel ordered expensive flowers to be delivered 200 miles away to his mother. Rosie wrote everything carefully. "Any message?" Daniel thought for a moment. He finally said, "Happy birthday, Mom. Sorry I couldn't come." Rosie looked at him quietly. "That sounds sad." "I'm busy." "People are always busy until it's too late," Rosie replied softly. Daniel pretended not to hear. Daniel walked back toward his car. Suddenly he heard soft crying. He turned. A little girl sat on the curb. She wore old shoes and held some coins tightly in her small hand. She could not stop sobbing. Daniel looked around awkwardly. He was terrible with crying children. Once his nephew cried for 3 hours after Daniel accidentally sat on his birthday cake. Daniel slowly approached the girl. "Hey, are you okay?" The girl wiped her tears. "No." "What happened?" Daniel asked gently. The girl opened her tiny hand. "I want to buy a red rose for my mother." Daniel saw only a few coins. "But I only have 75 cents. Her lips trembled. "A rose costs $2. Daniel felt something tighten in his chest. "What's your name?" "Emily." "How old are you?" 7.5. "Why half?" "Because halves are important." Daniel smiled. Emily looked up hopefully. "Do you think flowers become cheaper if you cry enough?" Daniel laughed softly. "I don't think so." Daniel held out his hand. "Come with me." Emily looked nervous. "My grandma says not to follow strangers." "That is smart. You could be a kidnapper." Daniel almost choked. "I'm not a kidnapper." "You do look tired though." "Thank you. I think." They entered the flower shop. Rosie immediately smiled. "Well, who is this?" "This is Emily," Daniel said. "And she needs the biggest red rose you have." Emily's eyes sparkled. "Really? Really?" Rosie picked a beautiful red rose, but Emily gasped dramatically. "That rose is huge." Rosie laughed. "It's called a premium rose." Emily whispered to Daniel, "Does premium mean rich people flower?" Daniel laughed. "Yes." Emily hugged the rose carefully. "Mom will love it." For the first time, she smiled, and somehow, that smile made Daniel feel strangely warm inside. Outside the shop, Daniel unlocked his car. "Well, where do you live? I can drop you home." Emily nodded quickly, "Yes, please." Daniel opened the passenger door. Emily climbed in carefully while protecting the rose like treasure. She looked around the car. "Your car smells like French fries." Daniel looked embarrassed. "That's because I eat lunch in here." Emily stared at him seriously. "That's kind of sad." Daniel burst out laughing. Emily pointed ahead. "Go straight." Daniel drove through busy streets. Emily kept giving directions. "Turn left. Now right. Now straight again." Daniel frowned. "This is a strange way home." Emily stayed quiet. Finally she pointed toward large iron gates. "There." Daniel slowed down. The sign read, "Greenwood Cemetery." Daniel froze. Emily stepped out of the car. Daniel followed slowly. The little girl walked carefully between rows of graves. Finally she stopped near a freshly dug grave. She knelt down and gently placed the red rose on top. "Happy birthday, Mommy," she whispered. Daniel's heart sank. The world suddenly felt silent. Even the wind seemed to stop. Emily touched the soil softly. "I miss you every day." Daniel could not speak. After a long silence, Daniel asked quietly, "What happened to your mother?" Emily looked down. "She got sick." Daniel sat beside her. "My grandma says Mom is in heaven now." Emily smiled sadly.